guys, welcome back to another makeup tutorial. I am officially on a roll when it comes to these tutorials lately, but I'm just going to be putting my hair back with my favorite headband. This is from Forever 21. It is too cute. So I'm first going to be going in with my Wet n Wild Rose Priming Water Spray. I'm very impatient when it comes to waiting for things to dry, so I always whip out my little Amazon fan. I love this thing. For foundation, you guys guessed it, I'm going in with my favorite Makeup Revolution First Base Stick Foundation. I'm using the shades F10 and F12, and then I'm just going to buff those out with my Morphe foundation brush. To brighten up my under eye and use as like a concealer primer, I'm using the Benefit Ooh La Lift Brightening Under Eye Corrector. And I'm just blending that out with my finger. For concealer, I busted this guy out. This is the Maybelline Master Conceal in the shade Light. And I haven't done this in a while. I'm using my damp sponge to blend out my concealer. I usually always use a brush, but today I decided I would use my sponge. Now I'm going in with the Wet n Wild Cream Contour Stick. This is in the shade Oaks on You. And I believe this is a e.l.f. angled contour brush or bronzer brush. It's something like that, but I really like it. And now I'm just going in with my foundation brush just to make sure there's no harsh lines and everything is blended in nicely together. Then I just switched to this Coastal Scents bamboo brush. It did come in a set, and if you didn't see my last tutorial, Coastal Scents is like no more, but this was part of their bamboo collection. And then I go over everything with my damp sponge. Moving on to a different shade of the First Base Stick Foundation. This is in the shade F4. I just wanted to like carve out my cheekbones a little bit more, so I just added a little bit underneath my cheekbone and I'm just blending that out with my foundation brush. Moving on to brows, I'm using my Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Blonde, and when I start off doing my brows, I like to brush all my brow hairs up first, and then I'll fill them in, and this is also the Anastasia Brow Brush. I believe it's number 12. To deepen up the tails of my brows, I'm using the ColourPop brow pencil in the shade Bangin Brunette. Next, I'm going in with Essence Make Me Brow in the shade Blondie Brows. This is a good dupe for the Benefit Gimme Brow. This just kind of lightens up my brows a little bit and makes them a little bit more fluffier. And now I'm just taking some of that Maybelline Master Concealer and I'm just carving up my brows. Now I'm just going in with my damp sponge to get out any creasing that's on my under eye or my lid. And then I'm going to be baking with the Huda Beauty loose powder in the shade Sugar Cookie. You guys, I don't ever bake unless it's my contour because my under eyes are so finicky. I know I've mentioned this before, but baking just doesn't work for me. But I decided I'm going to try it again today, and it worked. So I don't know if it's just because I used less powder. Maybe my skin has changed a little bit. Maybe my skincare routine has changed, like skincare products wise, but it totally worked for me. So to set my face, I'm going to use the Too Faced Do You. This is in the shade Translucent Radiant Nude, and I thought I remember this powder leaving like a glow to my skin, but it didn't really leave that much of a glow. But I still like this powder. I thought it was really pretty and it made my skin look nice. It's just not as glowy as like the Flower Beauty loose powder. So now I'm just wiping away and kind of pushing in a little bit of that Huda Beauty loose powder, and like for real, I'm going to start doing this from now on when I need to set my concealer. So fingers crossed that it works for me every time. For bronzer, I'm using the guerlain bronzer. This is the Terracotta bronzer in the shade 02 for blondes. For blush, I'm using the Essence Blush Up in the shade Heatwave. This is by far like my favorite summer blush. Like I bust it out every single summer. I love it so much. And then of course this would not be a summer tutorial without me using Estee Lauder Heatwave highlighter. This is the only time I can get away with using this is when I have a tan. So I make sure to use it every single summer because it is so pretty. And now I'm just using my stippling brush just to make sure my bronzer, blush, and highlighter are all nicely blended together. To do a little bit of baking, I'm going in with the Mercier translucent powder. Moving on to eyes, I'm going to be using this NYX Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette. This is in the Brights, and I'm going to go in with this yellow shade first. And I decided not to set my eyelids because I thought it would make the eyeshadow colors pop more. So, I mean, I don't think it really did. I think it would have been the same if I would have set them regardless. But I just decided to go in with this yellow shade as like my transition shade just to give a little bit of like warmth and just a different color in the crease since this eye look is mainly green. But I'm just using this fluffy blending brush. And now I'm just using the darker yellow that's next to the first yellow shade that I used, and I'm just putting that into my crease as well and just kind of like buffing it all over my eyelid. Now I'm taking this lime green shade from the palette and a more dense buffer brush, and I'm just putting that directly into the crease and then patting a little bit of it onto my lid as well. Switching palettes, I'm going to be using the Morphe 3503 palette, and I'm using this really pretty lime green shade in there, and I'm applying it with my finger first so I can get the most like pigment payoff, but the second I go in to kind of blend out, like diffuse the edges, the color just kind of blends away. So I don't know if I just need to get like a lime cream base and then put this on top or what, but it looks good with my finger, and then like I said, once I start blending it, it just kind of like goes away. So I need to figure out a way to make that color payoff really stay on my lids. Now I'm just taking my brush and kind of winging out my eyeshadow. I've been doing this a lot lately too, and I really, really like it. Now I'm going in with this Jessie Girls pigment. This is the Eye Dust in the shade Kiwi Rose, and I'm just kind of like, I took a clean brush and I'm just patting this all over my crease, my lids, literally everywhere that I have that green yellow eyeshadow, and I think it just left like the prettiest, like, not natural, but like light kind of metallic glow to my lids, and I just really liked it. I thought it was like really complimentary for like a daytime glam look without going overboard as if I was gonna use like a glitter, you know what I mean? Now I'm using this Beauty For Real eyeliner, and it's in the shade black, and I'm just putting this directly on my lash line, and then I'm going to buff it out with a eyeliner brush. And then you can see here that I didn't really like that brush, so I switched to a Sigma smudge brush. Now I'm taking the black from the Morphe palette and I'm just going to smoke out that eyeliner. Now I'm going to be using the Too Faced Just Peachy Matte Eyeshadow Palette for my lower lash line. I'm just going in with the shades called Peach Butter and Peaches and Cream. For mascara, I'm using these two. This is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Waterproof Mascara and then the Maybelline Lash Sensational. So I'm just curling my lashes right now. And then I'm going to use the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Waterproof Mascara first. I feel like this kind of like thickens up my lashes, and then the Maybelline Lash Sensational kind of like separates and lengthens them. For my lower lash line, I'm using the Maybelline Lash Discovery Mascara, and this is in Waterproof. I did like this when I first bought it, but it dries out so quickly. It's like you buy it and you have to use it within like the first month and then it completely dries out. This has happened to me like a few times since I've purchased this mascara, and I think I've purchased it maybe like 3 times and it keeps doing it. So I don't know if it's just the formula or what, but it's definitely good for the first month, and then after that it's just kind of like eh. But now I'm just going to apply a little bit of loose powder underneath there so that way my mascara doesn't transfer. Moving on to lips, I'm using the El Maquillage x Carly Bible. This is in the shade Luna. And then going on top of that, I'm using the Kylie Cosmetics Valentine lip liner. I always like to line my lips first with a brown liner no matter what lip combo I'm doing. Now I'm going in with the Valentine liquid lipstick. This is so pretty. I honestly think this might be like the second time I've ever worn this shade, and I love it. Now I'm just going back in with the Valentine lip liner just to marry the lip liner, both lip liners, in with the liquid lipstick shade. Now I'm just dusting away that loose powder underneath my eyes, and then for my brow highlight and my inner corner highlight, I'm just using this Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. And then I totally forgot to highlight my nose, so I'm just using the same Charlotte Tilbury palette. And now I'm just dusting away that contour bake, and then I'm going to be setting my makeup with the Morphe setting spray. Now this makeup tutorial is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do recreate it, make sure to tag me on any of my social media platforms and I will definitely repost. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.